Hello and welcome to another DSR Daily, this time for Thursday, November 14th. I am once again your host, Riley Fessler, joined as ever by Minna Stein. How are you doing, Minna?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I'm hanging in there.
The hits keep coming with this impending Trump administration, and I know that is your first story, so why don't you just rip the Band-Aid off now?
Remember when I was like, the pics aren't great, but they could be a lot worse.
Yeah.
And then yesterday when I was like, no, these are pretty bad. And then today I'm like, oh boy. Oh man. Representative Matt Gaetz resigned from Congress effective immediately, triggering a special election to fill his seat. His resignation ends a House Ethics Committee investigation into allegations of sexual misconduct, drug use, and accepting improper gifts, which Gaetz has denied. Gaetz has been nominated by President-elect Trump for Attorney General, though his Senate confirmation remains uncertain. The resignation could affect the already narrow Republican majority in the House, depending on the timing of the special election. Go Knowles.
What a great choice for Attorney General.
An alumni of my college, Florida State University, nominated to be Attorney General. I'm just kidding. Obviously, this is a terrible choice.
This joins the roster of, and we'll hit another one later, where I'm like, I'm not sure that's going to pass. I'm not sure if that's going to go through.
Yeah, so Matt Gaetz is, as we all know, entirely unpopular across the board. He's being investigated by his own party. Like, he's not... this isn't like a case of, Republican unity. Like, he's universally hated. So I also don't know if this is going to pass. It might not.
Yeah. I don't know. But it's very possible. Nothing will surprise me. I think it's kind of pointless to make any kind of prediction on how this will go. But of the cabinet picks that I think are most likely to face some actual opposition, I think he is near the top of the list.
I agree.
But given our next story, who knows? Because Republicans have officially secured control of both the House and Senate, complementing Donald Trump's return to the presidency and solidifying a GOP-led government. With a narrow majority, House Speaker Mike Johnson has promised an aggressive agenda to implement Trump's vision, including substantial government reforms. However, the GOP faces challenges maintaining unity, particularly with moderate members and Senate hesitation over Trump's unconventional appointments. Democratic leaders, now in the minority, are strategizing ways to remain influential as the GOP advances its America First agenda. This is not surprising. We knew this was going to happen. We were just waiting for it to be official. So more and more bad news, but...
now Matt Gaetz' seat is open.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That faces challenges maintaining unity line. I'm not sure how much I buy into that. Mm-hmm. I guess it depends how psychotic Trump and the MAGA camp get to see if we'll actually face any... to see if they'll actually see any dissent and splinters. But I really see the only issues in the near term of getting some of these appointments. But, we could say all this and then they could end up just all passing without any issue. I wouldn't be surprised really either way.
Well, I like that Matt Gaetz is resigning. So even if he doesn't get it, he's out. So
yeah, I guess.
I think Trump should nominate. That should be the Democrat strategy. Trump nominates House Republicans, forcing them to resign, and then they don't get passed. I think this is a great strategy. I'll call my Democrat connections and tell them what we've come up with. Well, speaking about Trump, U.S. President-elect Donald Trump and President Joe Biden held a cordial 2-hour meeting in the Oval Office on Wednesday, discussing issues like Ukraine and the Middle East, despite their long-standing political rivalry. Biden emphasized that supporting Ukraine strengthens U.S. national security, while Trump reiterated his desire to end the Russia-Ukraine war quickly, without offering details. The two men also focused on ensuring a smooth transition of power, though some aspects of the transition have stalled, such as agreements on office space and government equipment. Despite their personal and political differences, both men expressed commitment to a smooth transition, with Biden welcoming Trump and First Lady Jill Biden offering her support.
Okay. I mean, it's good.
Yeah.
That's how it should be. Even
That's
when
how
you
it should
lose,
be.
you have to take it on the chin and pass the baton. So, all right. Great. I thought it was interesting that Melania shunned Joe Biden's offer to visit. How much of that is political versus how much of that is Melania being like, I really don't want to be in the same place as my husband. It's hard to say.
Poor Melania. Poor Melania has to decorate for Christmas again for the next 4 years.
We're going to get a cool Ice Queen palace again for Christmas.
There's nothing she hates more than decorating for Christmas.
I believe it based on her track record of decorating. Well, hey, an almost silver lining, but not really. Senator John Thune of South Dakota has been elected as the new Senate Majority Leader, succeeding Mitch McConnell and marking a shift in Senate leadership while maintaining traditional GOP values. Thune, known for his conservative stance and independence from Trump, won the position in a close private vote against Senator John Cornyn, with Senator Rick Scott, a Trump-aligned candidate, falling out earlier. In his acceptance, Thune pledged to support Trump's legislative agenda, but emphasized that the Senate would act as a check on presidential power, upholding the legislative filibuster and carefully vetting nominations. Trump publicly supported Thune despite previous tensions. Thune's win signals a balanced Senate approach, advancing Trump's policies while preserving institutional norms and Senate independence. I will believe it when I see it.
Yeah, this was a very shocking story, and then I feel like it kind of got buried in the avalanche of stories that came almost immediately after it.
Yeah, we're definitely back in the Trump years already, because this is how news was from 2017 to 2021, which is, wow, holy shit, that's crazy. And then, an hour later, it's like, wow, that's even crazier. And
yeah, forget the first story. That was mild. Yeah.
And I feel like we're already back in that. I don't know much about John Thune. If this article is correct and he is a more level-headed counterbalance to Trump, I mean, that's great. I hope that's true. But I'm not holding my breath. I'll believe it. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I'll believe when I see it. When push comes to shove and they actually have to start voting on his appointments and bills, I'll see. But,
yeah. Well, we can close out with the second appointment from yesterday. This was the other story that avalanched us and made us forget about the Mitch McConnell story. Donald Trump's selection of Tulsi Gabbard as Director of National Intelligence shocked many, given her lack of former intelligence experience and her controversial foreign policy stances. Known for her anti-interventionist views and sympathetic remarks towards leaders like Vladimir Putin, Gabbard's nomination raises concerns across the intelligence community and in Congress. Her alignment with Trump and past endorsements have endeared her to conservative circles, but her unorthodox views and connections have sparked fears that her leadership might weaken U.S. intelligence sharing relationships, with allies potentially hesitant to share sensitive information. Despite her military background, Gabbard's foreign policy perspective remains outside mainstream U.S. national security views, likely making her Senate confirmation a challenging process. Yeah, it's great, I think, in a story about the intelligence pick to say that she has very controversial and out-of-the-box intelligence views while also not really having any experience in it at all. It's like, wow, seems like she's great for the job.
Being a Bashar al-Assad apologist and a Putin apologist is not necessarily two traits you want in your Director of National Intelligence.
No.
This is another one that I think will make her confirmation difficult. She's another one where I don't imagine she has a lot of friends in Congress, because she's a former Democrat who kind of began the transition away from the Democrats in 2016. She was somebody who kind of hitched her wagon to Bernie and kind of endeared herself in progressive circles, and then started showing her true colors, over the months and years, and then fully left the party in 2022 to become a right-wing grifter. So I can't imagine she has a lot of fans. So again, this is another one that might, I think, face some pushback.
Well, I remember when she ran for president and everybody was like, "Are you a spy? Are you a Russian spy?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Please don't worry. Please do not ask me that." And now she's going to be running the intelligence. I don't know. Seems like maybe whether she was or was not a spy, maybe not great allegations.
Yeah,
for intelligence.
I was reading the DSR's resident spy world expert, Mark Polymeropoulos' Twitter, and he certainly has a lot to say on this. He, unsurprisingly, not a fan of this pick. So if you want a bunch of different perspectives, and by that I mean a bunch of people that do not like this, go check out Mark's Twitter, because he has been retweeting up a storm of people that think this is a terrible idea, because it is a terrible idea. It's an awful pick. And there's certainly many lingering questions about whether or not she's compromised, which, not a desirable trait in the director of national intelligence. So, yeah, I mean, I thought the Fox News host was going to be the worst pick.
Me too.
Trump said, "Hold my beer. Here's two more absolute bangers." And I'm sure there's more to come. Again, Minna, say it with me. Still no RFK.
Still no RFK.
Where is he?
It's kind of really funny, I will say. I mean, you have to find something to laugh about in these horrible picks. Yeah. And for me, that one thing is that RFK hasn't been any of the picks so far, despite spending the entire campaign leading up to this moment campaigning for his spot in the cabinet.
Kamala's campaign wouldn't even take his call. And then Trump's campaign said, "Yeah, we'll take the endorsement." And then so far,
just nothing. Immediately dropped him.
I mean, he obviously wants to be Health and Human Services Secretary. But yeah, and so far he hasn't gotten it. Trump could shock us and pick somebody somehow even worse, which, I wouldn't be surprised.
That's true. But Trump's also very particular about the kind of crazy that he surrounds himself with. And there's certain people like Sarah Palin, for example, who was not the right kind of crazy for him. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering if RFK, although he appreciated his endorsement, is maybe a type of crazy that distracts from Trump's narcissism.
It's one of
crazy.
The things where, is it possible that the fact that he was at one point running against him was enough for Trump to be like, "No thanks"? And
I don't think so, because he appointed Marco Rubio, or he nominated Marco Rubio.
That was a while ago.
True.
Time heals all wounds. So little Marco got his after 8 years. So I don't know. We'll see. I would put nothing past Trump in terms of shocking us with another disastrous choice. But as soon as RFK Jr. has his position, you'll hear about it right here on the DSR network across our many illustrious podcasts. We have our Wednesday and Thursday combo show today, so stay tuned for that. And we'll be back tomorrow with more DSR Daily goodness. But until then, bye-bye.